Highway Wars by B.R. Yeager. It's almost every night. I'll be driving home when some cocksucker rolls up behind me, running their brights, blowing out my rear view, flooding my vision with blinding white. Maybe it's by mistake, maybe it's intentional, a jackass trying to fuck with me, but it doesn't matter. The outcome's the same. So here's what I do. I grab the rear view mirror and tilt it just so until their headlights shine right back into their fucking eyes. Rub their faces in it, see how they like that. And I'd like to say that what happens next is that the car behind me wobbles side to side, overcorrecting before careening off the road. Headlights gone, nobody's problem now. But that never happens, not once. At best, they switch off their brights or they accelerate and pass, the definition of anticlimax. Lynn hates that I do this, and I've been doing it longer than we've been married. She says I could get someone killed. I tell her that if you run your brights right behind someone, you deserve to crash. You'll just piss them off, she says. What if they follow you home? No one's gonna follow me home. And no one has. Not yet. Chicken shits, all of them. But ever since she mentioned it, I've been praying for one to try. I hate driving during the day, the sheer congestion of it. We've convinced ourselves that every space needs to be filled, so we fill them with cars every single day. So I mostly work evenings into nights, but not today. Today, I signed up for a morning to afternoon because it's a longer shift and I need the hours. So I'm out of the house at 9 o'clock a.m., which is just more salt in the wound. I try to never be out of bed before noon. At least it's summer. There are 3 fucking colleges in this town, so during semester the commute is even more of a nightmare, clogged with living garbage in tank tops and pajama bottoms, tan, muscled trash babies in sports cars racing up and down narrow avenues, tossing empties from windows and running over strays. But for now, the students are gone. Oh, so thankfully gone. And the streets are wide open. The whole world feels open. The sky open. The sun is gold. And even though it's horrible to be awake this early, the ache is ignorable from moment to moment. A twinge of sensation that could be interpreted as warmth and life inside me. I slow my 99 Camry, rattling with age, trembling gray like a frail horse, to the North Pleasant Street Kellogg Avenue intersection in the center of 3 lanes, heeding the red light, flanked by 2 others, a blue Honda Civic to my right, a white Kia Sedona idling in left turn only. The light clicks to green, and I ease off the brake, but this fucking Honda Civic just guns it, swinging out in front of me from the right lane, nearly clipping the Sedona turning left, blowing past us onto Kellogg. I smash the horn, and the Sedona does the same, and I catch a glimpse of the kid driving. Tank top, wavy ball of surfer hair, face like a male model's. A fucking college kid. I always forget. Some students stay on campus through the summer. You can never get rid of all of them. Like fucking ants. If he's heading where I think he's heading, there's a spot I can cut him off, so I stomp the gas. The Camry shakes and heaves but complies, engine moaning, underinflated tires pulling at the blacktop to push me forward. I keep it 10 miles over the speed limit, and the street is mostly empty, so there isn't much to worry about. Up ahead, at the Main Street intersection, I'm blessed with a fresh yellow and 0 oncoming traffic, so I press the gas harder and whip the wheel left and gun it down the way, passing the bookstore and Indian restaurant and Black Sheep Bakery, past the pizzeria and women's club, and boom, right there, the Kellogg Avenue outlet. I swing left, and there it is, the blue Civic, heading straight toward me. I wrench the wheel till the hood points toward the sidewalk, then pull the Camry in reverse, evening it out so its side is blocking both lanes completely. Blue Civic would need to go up on the sidewalk to get past me, and even the most reckless shitty kid is unlikely to pull a move like that. I shove the car into park. The Civic arrives, slowing to a halt. The kid starts honking. I roll down my window. You can't just do whatever the fuck you want, man. The kid scrunches his face. Baffled. Stupid. I saw what you did back there. You cut us all off. The kid rolls his eyes and leans out the window. Are you fucking kidding me? You can't just do whatever you want, dude. I shrug at him. Other people live here. Get out of the fucking way! He screams, pounding at the horn. Jesus Christ! Go! I think about getting out. I think about getting my bag, but there's too much daylight, and this is already too blatant, too provocative. I pull the car out of park. You think about what you did, I yell. This isn't your goddamn mom's house. I swing left, pulling forward, opening the roadway. He guns around me through the empty oncoming lane, screaming while he passes, the words indecipherable, just noise. The joke is that literally everyone around here has worked MSC data capture at least once or twice in their life. It's the easiest job in the world to get, and even easier to keep. Dialing the public, reading survey scripts off a computer screen, inputting the data, that's it. All you have to prove is that you can speak and hear, and they'll hire you even if you otherwise can't perform the position's other basic functions. There are guys working here who can't pronounce half the script, dudes who can't read half the script, but they still thrive here because none of it actually matters. There's this kid, Bruno fucking Bailey, this real wild Southie, who rolls joints at his desk every other shift. Never been caught. It's a numbers game, where the numbers don't matter. All you got to do is show up and put in the minimum, not the kind of place you'd want to get stuck at if you had any ambitions. The only way you'd consider it a long-term prospect is if you were fucked for life. I've been here for 13 years. I'm late, as usual, running in through the sliding doors, exhaling a quick hey to Shane, the security guard, then into the dialing room to sign in at the supervisor's desk. Paul, one of the soups, looks up at me, then at the clock, then at me again. You're 17 minutes late. Traffic. He arches a brow, cocking his head toward the rest of the room. Everyone else made it on time. I very much doubt that. Sincerely. It's a figure of speech. Look, please. And it's a surprise even to me that I'm already almost crying. Please, please, please. I don't need this today. Paul snorts his wide pig nostrils and tosses his pen on the desk. Honestly, I'm just making conversation here. Great. Fun. Thanks. I drop the pen on the sign-in sheet, grab my headset from the filing cabinet, and head to my station. The dialing room is big and beige, 10 long desks, each split into 25 stations on either side. Each station equipped with a touchstone landline phone, an autodialer, and a desktop computer that was already old in the early aughts. Quiet, ambient hostility. Factory floor, but white collar, without even the superficial benefits of American myth. The higher-ups randomize the seating chart every day to keep us off balance, so you never know which station you'll be at or who you're going to be stuck between. If you're lucky, you'll get Cynthia Falla and Jerome Powers. At least those are the names they use while dialing. MSC data capture allows for pseudonyms, because they're total fucking pros with insane completion rates, so you never have to worry about small talk. But today I'm between Hilda Swan and Ricardo Boston. Ricardo Boston is always organizing and reorganizing his pills at his desk, and grunts and curses whenever he gets hung up on, which is almost always. Hilda Swan just stinks of gasoline and pee. On the plus side, she has a surprisingly great completion rate, so she barely stops to chat. But today, she's nightmarishly ripe, canceling it all out. I plug in my headset, sit down, and stuff tissues between my eyes and glasses so no one will see me weep. Now, my third sister went to live in Louisiana to be closer to her father-in-law, and we weren't real close to begin with, so I was fine, but Mama was real put out, and this wasn't my sister with the drug problem. She lives real close, and I still see her sometimes. The respondent had been talking for 5 minutes. I had asked whether she had had a physical in the past 12 months, and this is her response. MSC data capture requires that I state the question a full 3 times before marking it as a refusal and moving it on. But I can't get a word in. I can't bring myself to. She said she lives alone, and it's apparent she hasn't spoken to another person in days. The survey is supposed to take 20 minutes if your demographics qualify. We have been on for 35 and haven't even passed the screener questions yet. My mother lives in Carl Junction, and she has her entire life, except when we live in Clarksdale, and that was long enough ago that it doesn't really count. The hand reaches out in front of me and clicks mute on my headset receiver. The hand is attached to Malinda, another supervisor, only 23, way too young to be in that role, but I guess she possessed a severe enough face and personality to qualify. We all resented her when she got promoted, though most of us would rather self-immolate than supervise this place, but no one here would waste an opportunity to be resentful. You have to end the call, she says, arms folded, eyes fixed in resting glare. I can get through this, I say. I haven't had a complete in weeks. It doesn't actually matter because this place will never actually fire you because of performance alone, a written warning at most. But there are people here who will show up without pants because they forgot to put on pants before leaving home, and they get more completes than I do. Jesus Christ. At my last performance review, the supervisor just shrugged and told me that maybe my rates are so low because I'm just unlikable. Fuck. I can do this, I say. No, you can't. End it. I can't fucking take it. She stomps back to the supervisor desks, puts on her headset, and glowers at me. I click myself off mute and try asking the question a third time. People see me and they see an ape. They see an ape pulled over my skin, a stupid, disgusting orangutan blowing snot, batting at objects he doesn't understand, trying to make them work in ways they were never intended. Stupid fucking shirt and sweatpants filled with garbage, stupid, disgusting-ass ape. They look at me like I'm not worthy of life. The sun's still high when I get out. Again, this almost never happens, and I hate being out during daylight. More people, and that means more cars, more wolves feuding for the head of some fraud hierarchy. But I know it makes Lynn happy, because it means we can actually have dinner together. I can't remember the last time, so I swallow it down and grip the wheel tight, telling myself it's worth it. I take back roads to dodge traffic, but even then, there's no escaping people. Spilling out of houses, out of the sky, bubbling up from the earth. Building new structures, new complexes, casting dust and shadow over the old world. Future ruins, and of course new roads to reach them. So many people, too many people, and on a strip of blacktop between vacant rolling fields I get stuck behind one. A woman in a Merlot Chevy hatchback, swerving back and forth across the lane. Through her rear windshield, I see her hand lifted in front of her face, clutching a phone. So predictable. Split between worlds, she glides over the painted lines before overcorrecting and kissing the shoulder. Up ahead, maybe a few dozen yards, I see the bicyclist. Bicyclists and pedestrians are always paying the price for driver negligence, everyone knows that. But there's something more to it. A real animosity. The fact is, drivers despise bicyclists. They view them as an impediment to their vehicle's sovereignty. Bicyclists and peds are just reminders of social obligation, a responsibility to others, and there's nothing drivers hate more. Sealed away from all others and their disgusting oxygen atop thrones of plastic and metal, glass and pleather. Drivers loathe their responsibility to fellow travelers more than anything, because driving is like any drug. You never want to care about anyone else when you're strung out. My muscles tighten as the Chevy rides up on the cyclist, driver still clutching her phone, weaving back and forth. The hatchback veers left over the center lines, and for a moment there's this hope that she sees the bicyclist, that she's giving the rider enough space, that she understands precisely what her vehicle is capable of inflicting on a human body, that she's simply doing the right thing. But then the car yanks back toward the shoulder and its tires cross over into the bicyclist's space. I lay on the horn. The cyclist sees it coming and maneuvers, dodging the Chevy's bumper, swerving off the road, wobbling, then falling sideways to the grass. The hatchback proceeds down the road, oblivious to what it had done. I don't pull over to see if the cyclist is all right. I press the gas, keeping the Chevy in sight. The Chevy cruises past the turn I usually make to get home. I take my foot off the gas and touch the stem for my turn signal. Fuck it. I stomp hard, blowing past my turn, in quiet pursuit. She pulls into an empty driveway to an Easter yellow bungalow and barren lawn. I roll on past and keep driving until I'm 2 blocks away before slowing to the curb and shoving the Camry in park. I pull my bag into the front seat and open it. All I need is my hoodie and hunting knife, so I remove each and just sit. Pulling on the hoodie, running the AC, waiting for the sun to sink, sky shifting from pink to charcoal. The block fills with hazy blue moonlight, and I get out, knife folded, held tight in the hoodie's pocket. The night breathes hot and waxy. The sweatshirt is like a trash bag, wringing out moisture, but the hood feels like a mask, and that feels like safety. I bob down the avenue, behind the bushes, between the street lamps. Pretend to disappear. Become objective, just a perspective from a vantage point. What do you see? Single-story houses, passably manicured lawns, stone walkways, trellises, wind chimes, political signs, crows, squirrels, but no people. Not a single person outside. Too perfect. I reach her house. The lights are on inside, and that's scary, but it only feels scary. You can't really see through a window when there's light on your side and darkness on the other. I'm as good as invisible, so I step into the driveway and unfold the knife. Crouched at the rear of the Chevy, I peer over the trunk at the house. No movement through the yellow-lit windows. I look down at the tire, grip the knife, and cover my face with the inside of my elbow. Stab. The rubber's tough, but it gives. It opens, it lets me in, and the air pushes back, pissing back the blade. I look up at the windows. Still no one there. I crawl along the bumper to the other rear tire. Stab. Release. The rubber sinks, flattening into the asphalt. I scuttle along the passenger doors to the rear of the car. Stab onto rubber. Air hisses out the wound. A hinge squeals. A door slams. A bellow. What the fuck are you doing? The driver. The woman. Standing there. A silhouette in the doorframe. I run. I don't even think. I just turn and run. I run even though generally no one gives chase. No one gets farther than the end of their lawn. Most people aren't that stupid. They know I have a knife. But you never know. So I run. I run for blocks. I run until my lungs give out and I toss myself under some public bushes, shaking, heaving, trying not to puke. Righting myself, I peek back, squinting through street lamps' pale light, glancing at the other houses, the lawns. No one. Not the woman, no neighbors, not even pets wandering, just croaks and buzzing, crickets sawing and frogs screwing. Crawling from the bushes, I keep left and circle the neighborhood back to where my car is. I get in, stuff the knife and hoodie into my bag, and drive home. I don't delude myself. I know this is only getting her off the road for a week tops, but last year at least 400 people died on Massachusetts roadways, an average of at least one person per day, and because of me there will be at least 3 days where that woman isn't on the road and maybe somebody will live because of it. I don't know. I just don't know. I know it's a band-aid on an amputation, but what else is there? Lynn cries and screams when I get home. Why didn't you call? I had my phone off. The battery died. I tossed my bag in the spare room where I've been sleeping. Well, what were you doing? Just driving around. I lost track of time. I'm sorry. I thought you were fucking dead. Massaging my temples, needles in my lobes. I said I'm sorry. She sniffs the air, trying to pin a scent on me. Were you out with someone? What are you talking about? She looks down into the table and doesn't look back up. Were you with someone that I don't know about? Jesus Christ, voice cracking like anyone else would have me. What the fuck? Her face twists like a rag and she bawls. Then what were you doing? I was fucking driving around. I like to drive around, and this is true. Sometimes I'll take Route 116 up to Conway on a winding gray serpent, pushing through conifers as tall as office buildings. Even during the day, the road is empty and free, like the beginning of the end of humanity, like the world is beginning to come back, and only I am around to witness it. You never think about this shit when I'm out late. That's different. Not really. She sinks into her chair and looks away. I wanted to have dinner with you. I always need to know I can exit any place and any situation at any moment. Never get stuck in a corner, never get boxed in. So I keep my bag close. Inside my bag, 1 pair of clean shorts, 2 clean shirts, 1 short sleeve, 1 long, 1 sweater, 1 hoodie, 3 pairs of clean socks, 3 pairs of clean underwear, 2 bottles of water, unopened, 5 cans of Chef Boyardee ravioli, flashlight, phone charger, burner phone and charger, my birth certificate, a crowbar, the hunting knife. Thank God we never had children. I can't believe she hasn't left yet or kicked me out, but in fact I know precisely why. She's terrified of the disruption it would cause, of becoming spinning, alone. The horror of re-entering coupling, the bars, the matchmaking websites, faceless strangers messaging, desperate to own and plug your body. I know her too well. She wasn't built for that shit. Me being the way I am is already a blow to her sense of stability, but if I left, it'd be even worse, or at least that's what she's convinced herself. Our dissolution would signify a failure of her faith in herself and me and us, of so much irreplaceable time misspent. It's a genuine fear, therefore an exploitable one. And as much as I tell myself I'm not exploiting it, deep down I know the truth. Summer allergies. The worst thing in the world, the worst fucking thing. You can never understand unless it happens to you. All day and all night blowing ropes into stupid little hankies, little disgusting crumpled tufts filling up my car, filling up my station at work. You got a cold, man? Dante Paris says, covering his mouth with his hand, peeking over at me and my station. Usually he's one of the better dialers to be stuck beside, because usually he minds his own fucking business, but usually is only fucking usually, apparently. It's these fucking allergies, I tell him, muting my headset, huffing the tissue, blowing dry, sticky slugs. And you know what? It's worse than a fucking cold, because a cold will end. But not this shit. This is just my fucking life now. I open the tissue and peer at the slug, tinted rust, then crumple it, tossing it into the station's corner. It's not fucking fair. No one, no person, animal, or otherwise deserves to deal with this shit. I mean, look at this. Gesturing at the pyramid of crumpled tissues. Do you know how much tissues cost? I don't want to have to pay for this shit. It's so fucked. Okay, man, Dante says, angling away from me in his chair. I hit the auto dialer. 3 rings. Voicemail. Enough time for my sinuses to fill with more warm, thick slugs. I stuff my hand into the tissue box. My fingers scrape nothing. Look inside. Nothing. I pat the pile of used Kleenex, all soaking wet, unusable. Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe just wait it out. I look up at the clock. 2 hours left. I get up, heading past the supervisor desk toward the bathroom. Hey! Dennis calls out from the desk. Fucking Dennis. No supervisor takes his job more seriously than fucking Dennis. And that makes him the worst person in the world. Worse than anybody. Worse than Jean Bedel Bocassa. He taps the sign-out sheet with his pen. Look, voice cracking, trying to contort my face into something that suggests affability. These allergies are killing me. I'm out of tissues. I gotta blow my nose. Still got to sign out. I'm just getting some fucking tissues. I'm not signing out. Anytime you leave this room, you have to sign out. I take the pen and sign and mark my time, letting my fucking snot drip down onto the sheet. You fucking happy? That isn't necessary, Ezra. I just walk away, out of the dialing room, down the hall to the men's room. The stall furthest from the door, my stall, is occupied, so I go into the one at the other end and sit on the seat. Sometimes I'll just stare into the gray of the metal stall door. Imagine it was the world and the world was nothing, that I was nothing, melted down into warm, soft gray. Down the row at the end stall, my stall, I hear Ricardo Boston grunting through clenched teeth. Fuck, I've got a dirty butt. Got a very dirty butt. The illusion breaks. I'm here. I'm something, and so is the world. I'm here, and so is everybody else. I wad up like 20 plies of toilet paper and stuff them into my pocket, then head back to the dining hall, to my row, and there, right in front of me, Dante Paris bending over my station, lifting my bag. Hey! I shout at him, passing the supervisor desk, Dennis gesturing at me, telling me to sign back in. Hey! Dante looks up, dropping my bag on the floor. Sorry, I was Just moving it. Don't touch my fucking bag. I get in his face. He falls backward into my station, knocking the computer monitor with his elbow, pressing his hand into my pile of Kleenex. Hey, 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 Dennis shouts, coming over. What's the problem? Nothing, I say. Yeah, nothing, Dante says. Dennis points at me and gestures toward the break room. Come talk with me a minute. Nothing happened. I know, but let's talk real quick. Fuck. It's fucked. It's all fucked. I somehow fucked my spot at the one place where you can get away with anything. I follow him. Dennis leans against a vending machine and looks me in the eye with that I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, wannabe father shit. I think you should head home for the day. God. Bones and blood pushing through my skin. I said nothing happened. He said nothing happened. Dude, I fucking saw you. You can't be pushing and intimidating people, man. I'm not writing you up or anything, but you have to leave. Just for tonight. I storm back to my station, grab my bag, leaving my headset and tissue pile, and exit out the building. It's already night. The only thing to go right today, I get in my car and take the back roads because I'm in no rush to be home. A long, straight corridor unfurls before me, and it's beautiful. Plowing a tunnel through the night past the blur of trees and hills beside me, a droning bass rattling my speakers, vague music from one of the college stations, intermingling with the engine's dull thrum, and it feels like fingers adjusting my spine. I move like a cell through a vessel, alone in the body of the world. A ropey strand catches in my throat. I grab a handful of toilet paper and hawk into it, like egg, like cum. I toss it to the passenger side floor, a floor you can't see for the tissues. A pair of lights creep out from behind a bend and into my rear view, rending the illusion of isolation. Only seconds and they're growing, gaining, and then the car's right on my ass, practically tonguing my bumper. High beams flash. I wait. They flash again, and the driver lays on the horn. A rule of mine. When I've got some guy behind me, and they're honking or flashing trying to get me to speed up, especially when I'm already going the limit, I'll drop my speed by 5 miles per hour. They flash or honk again, they lose another 5. Do it again, they lose another. See how they like that? Once I get down to 30 or 25 miles per hour, they usually pass, and I'm left wishing they'd followed me home instead. Maybe tonight. So I let my foot off the gas. The Camry moans and drags down to 45 miles per hour. The car behind clutches closer to my ass, less than half a car's length between us. You like that? The lights flash again. A double honk. I drop down to 40 miles per hour. The center lines change from solid to broken. If they had any sense, they'd pass, but the car honks and flashes its brights again. I can go all fucking night, bitch. I drop it down to 30 miles per hour. More honking, more flashing. Half a mile later, and the center lines return from broken to solid. There. The headlights veer left toward the oncoming lane. Now the car is trying to pass. Fucking idiot. Nope. Smashing the gas, I tug the wheel left to stay ahead. You lost your chance, buddy, the engine growls, shuddering to keep pace. Now you're stuck with me. My eyes flick back and forth between the rear view and the road. The headlights behind glide right. I fucking stand on the gas and swing back into my right lane, engine rumbling up through the floorboards into my anus. The Camry glides too far, front tire grazing the shoulder. I wrestle it back into lane, still flooring it, climbing to 55, 60, pushing all the way to 70 miles per hour, 75, 80. The headlights in the rear view slowly shrink. My eyes click back to the road and... 4 legs. Mottled fur, glowing marble eyes, broad, beautiful antlers. I nudge the wheel and slam the brakes, but my right foot is still on the gas. The Camry slides past the deer, tires squealing, branding blacktop, spinning out. Releasing the gas, the Camry bucks to a halt at the end of a perfect 180 arc. Headlights resting back on the stationary deer. My headlights blending with the other car's headlights. The deer between, and then... It sounds like a buckshot into a beer keg. The car... A piss-yellow Volkswagen Golf swerves too late, smashing the animal's hind. The deer spins like a wet nickel, spitting meat and fur, half annihilating across the roadway. The VW passes, shifting the air pressure, rocking my Camry, brakes squealing, burning deeper blacks into the asphalt. It skids right, breaches the breakdown lane, tries to correct but loses purchase, and plows the guardrail, a second round of buckshot, before flipping through to the ravine below. Heave in, heave out. My heart in my throat, my fist pulling at my chest. I tear the seatbelt off, put the car in park but keep it running, and let my foot off the brake, pull my bag from the back into the front seat, unzip it and remove the knife, step out into the night, blend into it. What do you see? There's red, and there's red, twisted red, smashed into blacktop and smeared. Fetid heat and perfect moon gray, and the filthiest dead shit reek you can imagine. An impossible stench, like rotting already, like bags of shit left in the sun, logs of shit in ruptured intestine, unwashed fur on burst flesh, unwashed red stench, unwashed fur hot guts. The stench of bones, unwashed red. An insane scream, sustained, like the way babies scream forever, never blowing out their voices. It isn't coming from the car in the ravine, but from the road still. Behind me. Turn to it. It's a shape, moving jagged in the gray light. A maw and antlers stretched toward sky. 2 legs, a pair of hoofs trying to stand. Only its 2 front legs exist now. The rear vanished into ripped red. It keeps trying to stand, unable to comprehend its predicament. All it understands is hurt and wanting to get away from it, to run away on legs that no longer exist. It screams, a scream that would end the world if the world made any sense, but here we are, so what does that mean? Another stench wafting through heat, exhaust stench. Sickly brown syrup sucked through tubes, burned in engines, burned and exhaled gray and black. Follow it. See it hissing up from the ravine, the glow of headlights producing a faint halo at the lip. Tracing the black skids to the flattened guardrail, I peer down the ravine. It's a miniature tornado's wake, leveled trees and brush, a path carved down to the Volkswagen. It rests on its side, nuzzled between ancient firs and the ravine's incline. Coolant spitting, billowing dense miasma. I keep the knife folded and stick it in my back pocket, sliding down to the car on damp grass and earth, stepping onto the driver's side door, feeling the ruptured engine's vibration through my foot, peering through the open window, a stink of beer and filth rising through, a gurgling down there, distinct from the radiator spitting, sounds a body makes. I take out my phone and shine a light into the crushed compartment. The driver, a rag-dolled bloody frat boy, appears beneath the light, crumpled into the dashboard, resting atop the passenger window, now a floor to him. Head split, maybe, not sure whether the ragged red of his face is only ruined skin, or that the bone is cracked, too. What the fuck? He froths and gurgles. Hey, I say, you alright? No! No! He shrieks, I'm fucking hurt! Can you get up? I don't know. I reach for my knife, hold it tight inside my pocket, then release. You really shouldn't have done that back there, I say. The boy just moans. Running your fucking brights on me? Fucking drinking? I'm so angry I'm almost crying. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? You... The boy gurgles. You fucking... And I can see him putting it all together in his damaged brain. He realizes who I am. You fucking... He wants to blame me. Completely disgusting, refusing to take even the slightest bit of responsibility, I switch off the light and turn from him, scaling the grass and dirt back up to the road. Wait! He screams. Wait, please! Again and again, then it isn't even words, just screaming, a counterpoint to the doomed deer's bellows above. 2 jagged tones, sometimes in harmony, but mostly not. Years back, before we were married, when we still shared a bed, more than a decade now, I was driving Lynn home in her car. She was drunk, late from one of her aunt's parties. I didn't want to go, and I was right to resist it. None of her family took me seriously. They'd look at me, and they wouldn't even see an ape, not even a living thing, just a weight fastened to Lynn's ankles. They were disgusting people then, and still are, those who have survived. We wound around the hills, cutting from Westfield to East Hampton, silent in our seats, not even music on. I wanted her to hear the simmer. It doesn't matter how closely I was watching the road, it was inevitable. Rounding a bend, a deer appeared beneath my headlights, stopped stupid in the middle of the lane. It pulverized the moment we touched it, a burst of meat and stench. I stomped the brakes. We caught our breaths, examined each other's bodies, and finally got out. That identical rotten meat shit stench. The bumper smashed, a crack in the windshield, a crater in the hood. Red, freckled all over. Tufty chunks of hide. Lynn beginning to cry, me holding her tight, no longer craving her guilt. I told her that the car could probably make it home, so we got back in and continued on, new internal rumbles accompanying the standard engine growl. Lynn slipped her hand onto the top of my thigh. I placed my own over and squeezed it tight. At home, we showered and fucked harder and with more love than even our first days of courting, a fresh knot in the rope of us. We fell asleep, a strange, peaceful slumber, clutching each other, her head on my chest, breathing in sync. Thank God Lynn is asleep when I get home. I remove my shoes, tiptoe to the spare room, and lie down on the cot. I think that I won't be able to sleep, but I do. My eyes blink closed, and I'm inside a container falling through space, falling through the atmosphere, falling through oxygen and steam, landing on a black gelatinous planet, a planet of endless swamps in every direction and trees like razor wire. I dig crabs from sunken marshes, tearing them open with bare hands, sucking their insides from carapace for sustenance. No sun, just a silver moon straining through fog and ropey vines, voidal brush shivering. No sound but my breath and my jaw clicking and sloppy skittering at my feet. I wake behind the wheel, smashing through a guardrail, my body tearing through the seatbelt, launching through the windshield, my weight flying forward, flying through trees and the windows of houses. I break my arms, legs, and neck on branches and door frames. Still flying, flying higher and higher up through the clouds and atmosphere, past gravity. I fly through the zero of space, past the sun, the rest of our system, flying past our galaxy to the end of the universe, and break through the wall of that to whatever lies after. Then I wake up for real. Driving to work means running the Route 9 gash through Hadley, a scar of malls and strip malls, malls always growing, malls in front of beautiful shrinking farmlands that fill the air with cattle shit heat stench. Constant redundancy, at least twice of everything. 3 supermarkets and a Trader Joe's, a Barnes & Noble and Bed Bath & Beyond, a Walmart, a Lowe's and a Home Depot, a Michaels and a Joann Fabrics, a J.C. Penney's, an H&M, an Old Navy, a TJ Maxx, and a Marshall's. So compressed you could stand atop a utility pole and see it all. The Russell and Maple Street intersection divides the main malls. Just take a left onto Maple between a Wendy's and a KFC Taco Bell, then a right onto another artery, and you're in the Venture Way office park where MSC Data Capture is nestled on the first floor. Traffic's a holocaust. I see 3 accidents, a Highlander wrapped around a tree, a fender bender between an F-150 and a Chevy Venture, a motorcyclist being pulled onto a gurney, and it takes all of my discipline not to stop at each crash site and open my bag. But I'm almost there. I've almost made it, stuck at the Russell and Maple red light, watching a Jeep Wrangler run over a seagull. The bird just walks into traffic and stands there, doesn't even attempt to fly. The Wrangler rolls forward, front wheel smashing the gull into tar. Wings flash wide and symbolic, beak open, batting, shrieking. An SUV full of young men in tank tops and headbands. They point and laugh at it. They're watching and they're just laughing. All of them. I become extremely aware of my bag. A loud fucking bang across the street. A bang and a scrape like a shovel dragged across steel. I look just in time to catch this coupe, this huge white boat, swinging left, out of lane, into oncoming traffic, scraping against the car in front of it. It weaves over the center line and bucks, like the driver's tapping the gas and releasing, over and over. Oncoming traffic honks and swerves over the breakdown lane, cutting around while the coupe pushes forward in violent heaves. Finally, the boat just guns it, shooting ahead through the intersection, swaying back and forth across all lanes while everyone else scatters to the roadside. Squinting through the coop's windows, I can't see anyone. Like no one's driving. Phantasm. I wait for the green. 1 second. 2. 3. 4. 5. It doesn't come, so I check left, then right, then smash the gas, whipping the wheel left and pushing through onto Maple, horns caterwauling all around. I reach my turn and blow past Venture Way, keeping the coupe in sight, gaining on it. The coupe sways and staggers like a drunk, slowing suddenly before taking off again, tearing all over the road. We're into farmlands now, with thankfully less traffic, and the two cars that do pass expertly swerve out of the way. It's only 7 or 8 miles before the coupe finally wags all the way across the road, departing asphalt, hopping a runoff ditch and smashing forward into a utility pole. Halted. Letting my foot off the gas, I drift onto the shoulder, park it but keep it running. I pull my bag onto the front seat and remove the knife. Crossing the street, squinting through terrible sunlight into the coupe. I still can't make out a driver or a passenger. No one. It's not that the windows are tinted. I can see into the car just fine. I just don't see anybody. Approach the way cops do, from the rear left taillight hugging the body. Keep checking for anyone who might spring out. Even if they've schemed up an ambush, they'll still need to turn around to get at me. This provides some advantage. I glance back at the road, left and right. No cars for now. I unfold the knife. A squeal. A squeal from inside the coupe. Through the rear window and passenger windows, still no one, just empty seats. Stepping forward, I peer through the driver's side. Another squeal. A raspy, inhuman grunt. Movement. Movement in the driver's seat. Naked flesh folded over, hairy and pale. A large nub of flesh, shaking and buckling. I breathe in. Knife secure in hand, I grab the door with the other, yanking it open. The driver falls out. Pink skin. White hairs, squealing pink blubber, falling from the driver's seat into the grass. A pig. 100 or so pound hog snorting and squealing. It hops up on its trotters and scampers away through the brush, popping out the other end onto farmland, shrinking away towards somewhere, away from something. Jerking back to the coupe's interior, I scan for an attacker, for someone else. Ducking my head inside, scanning the seats, the floors. No one there. Folding the knife, I head back to the Camry. I sit and stare at the wheel for 5 minutes, humming a song, one from my childhood. I've forgotten the name, but the melody holds tremendous relevance. Then I put the car in drive and steer it back toward work. They seat me by the supervisor desk, and I have to listen to them all bitch and chatter the whole shift. My father hates my husband, my wife hates my sister, I hate my daughter's preschool teacher. Fucking narcissists, all of them. Then the droolings coalesce into something familiar, something with terrible potential. It's gotta be just one guy. Right? Yeah, or like a few of them, a gang, maybe. It legit happened to my sister's neighbor. Just last week, she came out and there was this guy by her car, all her tires slashed. Yeah, we've got a group going on next door. We're gonna get this guy. I mean, like, tires are freaking expensive. I never eat before my shift's over. I just can't before then. It'll ruin my day. Food is an enemy. The floods of anxious nausea. The way ulcers tear me open from the inside out. The way fibrous foods turn to liquid shit the moment they hit my pancreas, leaking out my anus. Work exacerbates it. People's voices exacerbate it. I just can't do it. Not until the day's finally over and I can be alone. Real alone. I know Lynn is worried. Everything about me worries Lynn, but this one particular thing, this I can hide somewhat. I tell her I eat at home while she's at work. I tell her I eat again before my shift. I tell her I'm eating 3 square meals a day, vegetables and protein and all the essential vitamins and nutrients. It would be wonderful, but I can't do it. I can't. I clock out at 11 o'clock and call in an order. Domino's pizza, ground beef, black olives, onions, and peppers. Every time. I've got the timing perfect, so it's fresh out the oven and into the box when I roll up. Then I drive to a parking space downtown to ingest it in solitude. Stomach twisted, walls squeezed together, begging for its first and only meal of the day. I slide the first greasy slice into my mouth and scan the block. Lines of darkened storefronts. What used to be a Korean restaurant, what used to be a bookstore, a mom and pop cafe being converted into a Dunkin'. The streets empty. Empty aside from a man. This one man I always see. I've seen him for years, as long as I can remember. Long gray hair, ripped jeans, never in a shirt, scrawny frame, but not without power, taut, stringy muscles beneath tanned flesh. Homeless, and always was, I'm sure. A stray. A true lifer. I'm jealous of him, sometimes. He's always picking trash off the road. Nothing to sell or trade, just cleaning his space. Our space. Work that no one else will do. He never begs. He never asks for anything. He fears God, I'm sure of it. Some God. Maybe not anyone else's, but his. At crosswalks he'll get on his hands and knees and slowly crawl across, muttering prayer. Before I had a car, I'd see him on the bus, climbing up the steps hand over hand, crawling up and down the aisle between people's legs, praying under his breath. Now he's here, in the dead vacant heat, sitting down on his hands and knees at the foot of the crosswalk. He begins crawling across, one hand after the other, whispering prayer, unaware that I or anyone else is watching. That's true faith, true commitment. Performance not for anyone else, but for him and his God. One hand after the other, crawling to appease. A roar from behind, chewing up the quiet. Rubbernecking, I catch a pair of headlights scythe around the bend, tearing toward us. I press on my horn to warn the man on the road, but he ignores it, continuing his slow scuttle. I honk again as the headlights gain, glowing at my back, pushing out in front of me, setting the man aglow, pulling at his shadow and stretching it far up the street, like putty. The car, a wine-red Scion, growls past me and collides. The bumper flips the man on his back, pressing him down into the street. His body twists, tires and undercarriage ringing him. The rear wheels hump over his arms and legs, and only then does the Scion brake. The driver's side opens. A boy, steps out. Tufts of blonde hair poking out the bottom of a Patriot's cap, white muscled forearms, cheekbones with baby fat hanging off. I know him. From the call center, the piece of shit. I dialed beside him earlier in the week, spent his entire shift hitting on Mackenzie Russo. 0 completes. Piece of fucking shit. I can't remember his name, but now I know his face. And his car. The boy's face conveys nothing, just a mouth hung agape, void inside. I watch him glance side to side, up and down the road, a panicked animal, looking all over for witnesses but never glimpsing me. I wait for him to approach the body in the street, to see if the man still breathes. I wait for him to look at what he did. But it never happens. He gets back in his car and tears off. I toss the pizza box off my lap, crank the ignition, and stomp the gas. The Camry heaves after him, rattling down empty Pleasant Street. He's far ahead, but I can maybe stop him at the next intersection. Like a miracle, the traffic light flips yellow, then red. Stop, you fucker. But true to his nature, the Scion pushes through, over the hump, down the hill, through the colleges. I lean on the gas, eyes on the red light. The streets are dead, I tell myself. No one's coming through the intersection. I can just jet through just this once. It'll be fine. I slam the brake, just ahead of the light. I was right. The intersection's clear. I could have run it with no consequence. Too late now. The Scion is gone. The light switches green, and I swing a Yui back toward the body in the street. Twisted, swollen, all over, no breathing, blood spat from lips and nose already congealing, limbs crushed into pavement. I get out of the car and scream for help, but nobody answers. I call 911, and nobody comes. The body's still in the street the next day. Blackened with flies. People walk by, they drive by, but they don't look. They pretend it isn't there. I make it to work early. First time in a long while, longer than I can remember. I walk the parking lot, chaining butts, looking for the Scion. Watching as everyone rolls in for their shift. I wait 15 minutes for that stupid red Scion, but it never arrives, so I go inside and sign in. What took you? Dennis says. I saw you get here like an hour ago. Had an emergency. I say I had to, check on something. Oh, you okay? False alarm. Okay, I won't mark you. Sit down and get dialing. I sit between Raul Vargas and Nashra Dar. I ask Nashra if she knows the young blonde kid who works there. Drives the red Scion, I specify. She shakes her head. I wait for Raul to get up off his call and ask him. He scrunches his face weird, like a whiff of halitosis, and says, No, why? Haven't seen him today. You two are pals? There's something I want to talk to him about. On break, I go out for a butt and see Tony and Shell by the smoker's pole. I ask if they know the kid. Why? Shell asks. Is he selling? So you don't know him? No, really, Tony says. I've sat next to him a couple times. He uses the name Dustin Callahan when he dials, if it's the guy you're talking about. Does he drive a red Scion? I don't know, man. I headed back to Dennis at the supervisor desk. Hey, was Dustin Callahan scheduled for today? Excuse me? Was he on the schedule, or is it his day off or something? He narrows his eyes on me. I don't think that's any of your business. Did he call in sick? What did I just say? Get back to dialing. Back at my station, Raul eyes me from the side. Did you find out about your buddy? Yeah, it's fine. Forget it. And I get back to dialing. In the spare room, on the cot, I wait for sleep. Fits and starts, miniature images flitting beneath eyelids, castles hammered out of torn steel, burned bodies growing swollen in lakes, an enormous hand the size of Providence smashing down to soil and concrete, dragging across Earth's surface, wiping out all in its way. Then it hits. Dustin got caught. That's why he wasn't at work. The cops found him easily. There are cameras everywhere. There's no privacy. That has to be it. A CCTV camera captured the crash, the kill, his face, his plates. There it is. It's so obvious. I'll be reading about him in tomorrow's paper. And with that, the visions slip away into warm darkness. My muscles unwind, and I sink into mattress. The night wraps around me, and I'm gone. He's at work the next day, smiling. He's smiling. Bullshit blonde hair under that stupid fucking Pat's hat, bobbing along, smiling, just hanging out, chatty with the other teen wastes. I take my first break early and go investigate his car. It's been washed. What a piece of shit. The only evidence is a cracked front bumper. No problem there. You can explain something like that away easy. Hit a wall in the parking garage. Hit a dog on the way home. Nothing I could do. It ran right out. I don't know what happened. I just came back out and found it like that. A fucking demon. Ruiner of life. Back at my station, I barely dial. All I can think about is what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say. The words don't come together in my head. Only a vision of light and undefeatable justice. A brilliant white flame erupting from my throat to lick the wickedness from the whole of his being. Clock hits 9:59. I'm scheduled till 12 o'clock, but the college kids never work late shifts, so I switch off my dialer and watch the soup desk, waiting for him to sign out. Hey, Ezra. Dennis stares right at me. What are you looking at? I ignore him. I have you down for 12 o'clock, Ezra. Keep dialing. I stare at the biggest fucking knife at him. I'm resting my eyes. That's what breaks are for. And here he comes, Dustin bopping up to the sign-out sheet, one of the first in line. I get out of my chair and jog past the queue. Hey! He turns and sees me. He tenses, maybe recognizing something in my expression, understanding fury and fate. He drops the pen on the sign-out sheet and speeds toward the door. Ezra! Dennis stands, coming at me. You gotta stay dialing your whole shift. Man, you know this. I have to take a fucking dump, Dennis, and I rush past him to the main lobby. Empty, except the security guard. I jog through the sliding doors into a wall of slumbering heat, just as the bloody Scion rips past, out of the lot, into another violent night. I wait in the doorframe for Barb from HR to look up. Hunched over her desk in a scoliotic curve, running a pen down triplicate forms, I stand there for minutes, waiting for her to notice, cherishing each second, running through my spiel in my head. Finally, she looks up. Geez, Her head rolls, a small startle, but her eyes stay dead empty. Yeah? What is it? I step forward, wiping sweat from my forehead. I'm sorry, I wouldn't normally do this. Words I've been practicing the past half hour, stealing up, staring at my reflection in the computer screen. It's Bruno. Do you know Bruno? She places her pen on the desk and rests her chin on her palm. I might know Bruno. He's got drugs out at his station. She nods and looks back down at her papers. Lots of people get prescriptions. They get to take them at certain times. He's rolling a joint. She stops, closes her eyes, exhaling the entirety of her. And I think he has a gun. An embellishment on my part, possibly. One time on a smoke break, I overheard him bragging about carrying. Never saw any evidence to confirm, but none of that matters. All I need is for Barb to leave this room. She opens her eyes, resting them back on me. All right. She stands, grinding her stained teeth beneath bloodhound jowls. Where is he? We head down the hallway toward the dialing hall, stopping at the door. I point out the row where I'd seen Bruno earlier. All right, Barb says. I'll take care of it. Go back to your seat. I need to use the restroom. All right, go ahead. Then get back to it. Barb follows me to the lobby, stopping to talk with the security guard. I continue around the corner to the men's room and stand outside the door. Hope you didn't think it'd be a quiet night, Barb says and tells the guard everything I told her. He gets up and follows her into the dialing room. I jog back to the HR office and hit the filing cabinets, yanking open the top drawer, A to D, fingering through the files. Cabello, Cafferty, Cahill, there, Callahan. I pull it, flip through, find his address, and snap a picture, then return it to the cabinet and head back down the hallway. What the fuck are you talking about? Bruno's voice shouts from the dialing hall. What the fuck? Passing the doorway, I catch him swinging at the 71-year-old security guard. I take the corner, through the lobby, through the sliding doors, to my car. No music, just a voice on the stereo instructing me where to go through winding bends to suburban hills. Go through this light, then take the first right. I swing a right onto Snowberry Court. Your destination will be on your right. Cruising past identical prefab salt box houses, windows lit like jack-o'-lantern sockets. And there it is, the Scion, settled in its driveway. Reach your destination. I roll on farther and take the first right onto Trumbull Lane. Slow it to a park beside a row of arbor vitae. I open my bag and remove what I need. The hoodie slips over my torso and the knife grip into my palm. The crowbar slips behind my waistline, down my leg, obscured. Heading up the street, the crowbar gives me a stiff gait. Trying to make it look natural as cars pass, it occurs how obvious I look, especially in this neighborhood, the type of place where they call the cops on dogs barking. But I keep on, half expecting each oncoming car to light up white and blue the moment they clock me. But they just drive by. No one stops me, cop or otherwise. The Scion and its house sharpen into view. Waiting for one last car to pass, I pull out the crowbar so I can really move. Crouching low against the bushes, scuttling in fast, breaching the driveway, the Scion just ahead, beneath a lit-up house. I toss the crowbar to the grass and creep to the vehicle's rear, watching for movement, inside or out. The knife unfolds. The tires deflate with familiar gasp. I wait a beat between each one, for a motion detector to flash on, for a figure to run past a window, for the front door to swing open, some kind of confrontation, but it never comes. Just a long, empty ellipsis between each stab. A coma of a house. When the final tire deflates, I collect the crowbar from the grass and climb the steps to the entrance. First, try the knob. It doesn't turn, the lock catching on the latch. Then pound the door. Give him one last shot to do the right thing. Hey! I yell. I know you're in there! Only quiet. No scrambling. Not even the lightest footfalls. I just want to talk. Nothing. The crowbar's tip presses between the door and frame, as though it were crafted for this precise purpose. I wedge it in tight and push. The pressure warps wood, bends it. Press harder, snap, one last shove. It's like teeth breaking. The wood cracks deep around the lock, and the door wrenches open and the crowbar clatters to my feet. The doorframe explodes beside my head, a shower of soil, clay, leaves, and root systems, a clay pot thrown at me. A miss. Dustin stands ahead, doubled over, wide-eyed, first at me, then the knife in my hand. Twisting on his feet, he bolts toward the stairs. I head in after him, past vases and photos of smiling families and amusement parks. He's halfway up the stairs, whimpering and grunting when I reach him. I climb quick, 3 stairs at a time. He's shouting something, maybe just noise. Reaching, I grasp ankle and pull. Dustin falls forward, going horizontal. Chin meets hardwood, a sick crack, a break, a scream, a spit of rust. I yank him down to the ground floor, his head and chest thumping off the stairs like a falling ball, and drag him into the hallway. The look on his face when I flip him over, a coward's face, already given up, a stupid fucking gape, stupid young green eyes. I just wanted to talk, I whisper, kneeling down, straddling the crease between his belly and chest. Please, I think he says. He kicks his knees up, lightly striking my lower back. He pushes at me weakly, posing no threat. I raise the knife. He's already wincing, coward, squeezing his eyes closed, throwing his hands in front of his face. The blade rains down through his fingers, splaying them red and white, down between his cheek and eye, glancing off bone into his eye socket, slipping in, like through a melon. Barely any hope. A light pop. Silent, only felt, and the blade is inside him and he's screaming. Nothing like a tire. No glass or plastic, no armor to hide behind. It slips in, and I hate the sensation, feeling his insides through the steel. Chills and goose flesh. A button being pounded inside me that's supposed to make me stop. An evolutionary measure to repulse me from homicide, but he's flailing, and a bastard, and my own will toward justice and preservation wins out. The blade rises out of him. A plume of red, and he's still throwing out what used to be his hands, guarding an already ruined face. The blade descends into his mouth, splitting teeth from gum, splaying a tongue, splaying throat, scratching spine. Again, blade rising and falling, a machine on its own accord now, repeating until the mangled hands fall aside, until the face stops shaking, until the face is no longer a face, just something that was, and now is not. I'm covered in him. The hem of him all over my knife, my hands splattered across my chest, hot, wet, soaking the crotch of his jeans, touching my jeans, soaking the crotch of my jeans. He pisses my pants. He soaks me in blood, an evil thing. His hem on me, all over me, sticky, tacky on my skin, disgusting. I hate it. Head to the kitchen, the sink. Twist on the water, running it over the blade. My hands. It comes off easily, easier than you'd think, easier than it has any right to be. It becomes gone like it had never been before, like it was imaginary, a game we'd been playing. The window above the sink looks out onto his car. If he'd only been looking, watching me crouch at his tires, he could have maybe seen me and prevented this. He could have changed it all if only he'd paid attention. And like that, a pair of headlights splashes over the road, swinging right, up the driveway, flashing over my face. Oh no. I duck behind the sink. This new car beeps, its door clicks open. Peeking over the windowsill, I glimpse a woman, somewhere in her 50s, in clothes too young for her, long gray hair curled into ribbons, exiting the car. She gapes at the doorway and runs toward it. I reach the entranceway just as she steps through the doorframe. She jolts upon seeing me. Such shock, and I steal the moment to grab her hair and swing her head into the wall. The plaster dents. She loses balance. My fist pulls back, full of thin silver strands. I don't give her a chance. The knife slams her shoulder, a plume when removed. Again, she makes no noise, but gasps, air escaping. Familiar. I kick her to the floor and drag the knife across her throat, then her wrists, trying to make it quick because I don't want her to feel this. She doesn't deserve this. Probably. Finally, she stops moving, and I feel the warmth of her on my hands, the tackiness congealing on my hands, on my clothes. Jesus fucking Christ, get it off me. Back to the kitchen, twisting on the sink, running it scalding over my hands, over the arms of my hoodie, over the front. It's all fucking over me. It's in the fabric. It's still in my clothes. Okay. How do you get it off? Running down the hall, pushing open doors. Bathroom? Where's the fucking bathroom? A living room, a closet, stairs to the basement. Finally, at the ass end of the hall, a bathroom. A bath. I tear off the shower curtain, kick on the water, and step beneath the rain, fully dressed. My clothes soak instantly, accruing weight, sticking to my skin, chafing. Grab some fancy body wash, drizzle it over me, scrub at my arms, at my chest, rose blooms swirling from my feet, drifting across the floor, slipping down the drain. Scrub until it's all the way clear again, and step out, leaving the water running, tracking puddles through the hall, stepping over the woman's body, through the front door, back into the night. Halfway down the driveway, something clicks in my head, and I turn around, head back up the steps, and collect the crowbar, covered in my prints. The house, everywhere I've been, covered in my prints. I slip it behind my waistband, down my leg, and hobble back down the driveway, down the block, to my car. Cops. Cruisers everywhere, driving home, cruisers at the intersections, cruisers parked at the roadsides, cruisers blowing past me, then, passing Venture Way toward Route 9, I look toward the office park, flaring blue, the whole lot lit up with flashing blue light. I drive till early morning, carving a tunnel through the night, moon high silver and sharp as a knife, black woods rolling out all around, waiting for cruisers, for flashing blue lights, but they never come for me. At 3 o'clock a.m. I head home, strip naked in the backyard, and burn my clothes in the barbecue grill. I wake at 2 o'clock, throw on some cleanish clothes, head to the living room. Lynn stares at the TV, fist to mouth. "What's wrong?" I ask. She points at the screen. "Home invasion, last night. Over in Sunderland. Whole family killed." The screen shows a still photo. Dustin and the woman, his mother, alive in the past, smiling beside a Christmas tree. I look away. Does 2 people really constitute a whole family? What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? That's not the point. Like, at all. This stuff happens all the time. Not around here. The screen snaps to a news anchor. And Dustin, who worked for a local data research company. Lynn looks at me, wordless. I shrug and go out to the garage. I never find out what happened with Bruno. Dustin overshadows all of it. About half of work uses his death as an excuse to skip shifts. I'm utterly certain they don't actually care, but good for them. Everyone needs a break now and then. Then, 2 days later, the cops come by. 4 or 5 of them. The moment I see blue and silver, I turn to my monitor and stare at my reflection staring back, watching my skin grow wet. The guy next to me leans into my station. "You think this is about Dustin?" "Don't know. But of course it is." I steal a quick glance as one of the cops leads Dennis into the training room. I stare back into my monitor, pretending to dial, waiting for them to go down the lines of dialers, pulling each aside. No, they won't need to do that. They already know. They're asking Dennis to tell them everything he knows about me, asking if he's seen me with any weapons. I had the foresight to leave my bag in the car, but I should have left it at home. The first thing they'll do is lead me out to my car for a full search. They'll find my bag and the knife inside, which will be sent to a forensics lab, where they will identify latent blood stains because I was an idiot and didn't bleach it or chuck it into the Connecticut River. They'll find my fingerprints, my hair, on everything. And fuck, I still have the photo of his address on my phone. The rest of my life is easily foreseeable. I'll be put in a cage where men with werewolf physiques will split me from belly outward and sleep inside my skin. I will be less than alive. The inverse, in fact. "You okay, man?" Raoul's voice beside me, snapping me out of premonition. I didn't realize I'd been weeping. I turn, and the entire room is looking at me, including the massive trooper standing over the supervisor desk. Raoul holds out his palm. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." He gets up and heads toward the troopers. He points me out and says something to them. The cops nod and say something back. Raoul returns. "I told them you were very good friends," he says, and returns to dialing. About an hour passes and the cops leave, never once speaking to me. The entire world feels like a trap. Everything sounds like a footstep when it's late enough, falling acorns, wind pattering against grass. The quiet is most violent in summer because there is no real quiet. It's all animals and insects and flora scraping in the wind. And on top of that, there are still people. As much as I want to block them out, cars and mail delivery and fucking helicopters thrusting above, flashing spotlights down, seeking something, always certain it's me, but it never is, clawing through the sky above our house, but always moving on. I don't know what to make of that. Dustin Callahan and his mother vanish from the news as quickly as they arrived. At work, it's like it never happened, like he never existed to begin with. A good month later, no one speaks of him. We just keep dialing. This is how you'll be mourned, here. Moreover, no difference was made. I pushed against the world and the world wouldn't budge. The commute is still a holocaust. Steel-wrapped phone poles and bodies through windshields and babies on asphalt. Nothing earned, nothing accomplished. A death amounting to nothing. But scale. It's a matter of scale. Minor actions culminate. Culmination is key. Patterns are established. I've seen it. Stab one set of tires and you're a nuisance easily forgotten. Stab enough of them and a militia forms against you. Patterns move people. Patterns weave the world together. Something exists only ever as an act of repetition. Anything that does not repeat cannot exist. An objective, fundamental truth, and all that matters is whether you act in accord. The back roads are dead to me. The nighttime is dead. Dead, empty worlds. When I'm the only car on the road, everything beneath my skin feels empty, like cold silver wind blowing through. It's all dead, and I feel dead with it. The highways, that's where I am. It's where the world happens, life packed in 100,000 vessels a day, plastic and metal weaving together, holding space till they can no longer maintain. Collision. Departure. That's the pattern, and it happens here. So I'll hop on I-91 from Northampton and drive it all the way south till I hit Connecticut. Then I'll get off, swing back around, and gun it all the way to Vermont. Watching the traffic, the drivers' faces, their maneuvers, finding the repetition where people push their luck. There it is. On that stretch, in Holyoke, passing the soldiers' home, a pale green Ford Focus rises out of the on-ramp, slashing across the lanes between me and a tractor-trailer. It slides into the inside lane and leaps past. I flip my blinkers and follow. The highway splits into 3 lanes, each packed with rush hour, and the Focus weaves through, gliding through the leftmost lane to right and back again, only inches between other vehicles. I follow its invisible wake, holding ground at 4 car lengths, finding brakes in the congestion and moving in. Gas to the floor, and the Camry groans, roaring with upward inflection, catching purchase and advancing, hurling past the mall, now only 2 cars away. The Ford slashes diagonal again, from left lane to middle. A Harley rises out from the on-ramp. The Ford slashes middle to right. I see it in my head before it happens, the Ford clipping the cycle's front wheel, the cycle wobbling, then tipping, and then it's happening for real in front of me, trailing behind the ghost of my premonition. The Harley tips, throwing the rider, and both disappear beneath a truck following behind. The Ford keeps driving. I slam the gas and weave through, threading needles, gaining. The Focus stays in the far right lane, and it's perfect. There is a ravine to the side, no guardrail. I haul up in the middle lane, matching speed. Through the window, I see the driver, a young woman, younger than me, lips moving, singing or mouthing a song. Big round sunglasses like insect eyes, oblivious. I yank the wheel. She turns her head to see me just before our vehicles kiss. Just enough time to see her recognize what's about to happen. The opening of a scream, then the shove, the bang, like a gunshot. The impact pushes me away, but I wrench the wheel, staying on top of her. She pulls away, leaving the roadway, launching down the shallow ravine. Another bang, a blast just beneath me, my right front tire blowing out. The rim hits blacktop, an anchor by mistake, swinging me in an arc, hurling me, flipping me into the ravine as well. Rolling, body yanking against the seat belt, swinging around, losing gravity, hanged from ceiling, smashing knees and fingers on objects, the walls of the compartment, my head on the steering wheel, then back around until I'm sitting right side up again, awake and alive. The airbag never deploys. It's a sick heat. A flu in a sleeping bag. Either the air around me or just my body, I don't know anymore. I'm almost sick enough to puke and can't find my glasses. The world's a blur unless I squint. There may be blood in my hair. My neck won't turn all the way. Din in my head. A thick, sharp ee. Fire in my collarbone. A throb in my kneecap. I picture a cracked geode. I look at my hands. Blurry, stupid hands. I close them, and my left hand closes. My right hand begins to close, but the middle finger, I try to close it, and it starts to close, but it's like a rod's been shoved up inside. It tries to bend, but instead it's all shrieking agony. Feel along the crumpled flesh of the Camry, the imploded roof, the smashed windows, the engine shaking like a trapped animal until I switch it off. It will never be driven again. My old steed. I begin to cry. Then I fish my bag out from the rear window, remove the crowbar, and head back toward the other vehicle. The green Ford Focus, crumpled, all the way around, at rest on its roof. Engine still growling, tappets clanging, puffing gray clouds from the hood. What the fuck did you do? I say to her, wordlessly. Another noise. A piercing squeal. Other than the one inside my head, an organic alarm, a needle, a fistful of needles in my ear, harmonizing with my tinnitus, a voice, real screaming. A child screaming. I call out, "Hello?" No reply but the scream, the engine, the scream, the hiss of coolant splattering and misting off hot metal. Wailing. "You okay?" Toward the driver's side window, broken out, candy-sized pieces scattered in the grass. A lump rests on the inverted ceiling. "Hello?" Resting the crowbar on my shoulder, I kneel to peer in. "Hello?" The lump twists. A face reveals, in and out of focus. The driver. Bloody, swollen lilac lips, front teeth all punched in, a twisted anus mouth. Her fist rises and points at me, a burst of mist into my chest. Reel backward, almost losing footing, a sting, an abrasion in the air, crawling up my chest, into my mouth, up my nostrils, licking my eyes. Pepper spray, fuck. Eyes going wet and blurry, and the woman crawling forward. I wait for it. To go all the way blind, that scratchy fire dancing in my eyes. It persists, but my vision holds. And that's the thing. Most civilian pepper sprays are a little more than an irritant. No real stopping power, and here's a real-life example. She made a mistake. I move in. Her neck snaps sideways under the crowbar's heel. Gurgle and wail. Bring it down again in a wet crack. Again. Again. Until she cannot drive, she cannot speak, she cannot sing. Until her only movement is twitching, until she can't even do that. I hit her until she shits her pants. A long wet fart, and I smell it past the pepper spray. I hate it. Disgusting. How could you fucking do this? I hit her again, though she's already motionless. I hit her again for no reason, with no purpose. I hit her until I'm no longer compelled to. I feel, along the Ford's inverted ceiling, covered in trash, fast food wrappers, small toys. There has to be something. A half-survived coffee cup, a can of soda, God forbid water, anything to rinse out my eyes. A flailing lump hangs from the rear, flailing and screaming. An infant, strapped in a car seat, locked in this hell, hanged upside down, screaming and screaming. A drill on a nerve. Pitch a rising arc, a dart swung up toward heaven, to fall and pierce me entirely. I look at the blur, the squirming blur, pink and yellow and green, the wailing blur just wailing, wailing, unstoppable. I squeeze my palms over my ears and scream back at it. I scream to drown out its scream, but my scream is identical, just more of the same scream, so I stop. I put my hands back to the ceiling, floor, and grope. There. Fucking there. When all hope is gone, my hand wraps a bottle. A baby bottle. Sloshing white. Back at my car. My poor, beautiful car. Choking back the reek of almost sour milk poured over my face, rinsing my eyes. Slumped down to the grass against the driver's side door, looking up at the freeway, traffic blowing by, truly impossible to appreciate just how fast unless you're standing still, watching. Wiping away the milk, waiting, in the sound of the traffic and wind and the screaming yards away, waiting for the screaming to stop, to be overcome by sirens, waiting for red boxy vehicles, muscular blue SUVs that could knock over trees, tearing over the lip to bring obliteration, waiting for tear gas and bullets to fill my body, waiting for war. I wait for the sirens, but they don't come. They won't. Not ever. No one to take me. No one to save me.